This summer, we are traveling through a worship series that has us exploring a different national park or monument each week. We've been looking at what makes each holy space unique, as well as what we might learn from it to inform and enrich our lives. Today's focus is on Everglades National Park in what is now Florida, and our theme is preservation. As we celebrate the sacredness of our preserved lands, we also need to acknowledge the sacredness of these places to the first people who lived here, as well as the injustices that have caused great harm. The lands we now call Florida have been home to Indigenous people for approximately 8,000 years, beginning with the Calusa and Tequesta peoples living in the west coast of Florida. They numbered around 20,000 before the Spanish arrived in the 1600s. Their numbers decreased significantly over a 200-year period due to violence from the Spanish and diseases they brought with them. In the 1700s, facing pressure from white settlement, a large group of Creek Indians migrated from southern Georgia into Florida. They would come to be known as the Seminoles, and they called the Everglades appropriately Pyahoki, or grassy water. The Seminole fished, hunted, and farmed corn, melons, pumpkins, squash, and a fruit known as pond apple, which can only grow in very wet climates. To the Seminole, medicine and religion are integrally connected, as they see no separation between body, mind, and spirit. Daily rituals focus on the balance between humans and the natural world. Gratitude for all the Creator brings is at the core of Seminole belief. In 1818, the United States government began a brutal campaign to remove the Seminole. Many were forced along the Trail of Tears to what is now Oklahoma. As happened with the Cherokee, thousands died during this relocation, at least 3,000. Many went deeper into the Everglades to evade capture and removal. It's important to note that one of the architects of what was called Indian removal was John C. Calhoun, who was also a defender of slavery. This was one of the reasons for the recent name change of Lake Calhoun in Minneapolis to the original Dakota name Bade-Makaska. There are stories of Seminole people harboring fleeing slaves, which increased conflict with the U.S. government. In 1932, the remaining Indigenous people in Florida were moved to established reservations. In 1957, the Seminole people became federally recognized, followed by an independent band of Seminole known as the Makusaki being federally recognized in 1962. Thousands of Seminole and Makusaki people live in the Everglades area and are strong advocates for the protection of these special lands. They work to educate people about the human and natural history of the Everglades through museums such as Atathiki, or Place of Learning, Seminole Museum. They also operate many casinos and resorts throughout Florida. As we reflect on preservation this week, may we acknowledge the harm white culture and the church has done to both people and lands in the past. May we rededicate ourselves to justice for all and to preservation of the lands we have left, so that we might truly practice love to all of our neighbors and live in balance with all of creation.